Mortars incoming! Run, Egg, run!
Ooh, bacon.
Greetings, Tasty Morsels. It's Reverse BLT here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching episode 5 of the second season of The Wheel of Time. It is entitled Sul'dam. Yeah. So, I have a feeling this episode is going to hurt a little bit. Might be dealing with some cracked eggs.
Too soon!
I am, once again among you in my appropriate Dragon Reborn attire.
Stop being stupid!
I just have to say I'm really enjoying this season so far. Yeah, sure, just like with anything, there's a little bit of jank here and there always is. But this has been a huge step up from the first season, which you guys know I also enjoyed. But this one has been just tighter television. I'm really enjoying puzzling out the reasons for the changes that are made. Engages my writer brain where they're trying to figure out, okay, so who are they combining, what storylines are they combining, what storylines are they dropping, etc. Just sort of trying to figure out how they're kind of funneling this massive story down into something manageable over, 8 seasons or so of television. Really cool. I think they're making a lot of really smart decisions. I know there are some decisions that folks on Twitter have been confused by. There are things I'm reserving judgment on because I can see good reasons for them. I just don't know if those reasons are the reasons for why the changes were made. At this point, though, these guys do have my trust, so I'm not going to, I'm going to give them basically the benefit of the doubt for now. Hopefully this won't turn out to be a DB's situation like we had with Game of Thrones, where those guys made a lot of changes that were also very smart at first and earned a lot of my trust and then completely squandered it at the end.
This cannot be forgiven.
But I'm hoping that's not the route we're going to go with this. So far, so good is what I'm going to say here. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble, and I just said I wasn't going to do that. So let's just go ahead and get straight into this troublingly named episode of The Wheel of Time. It's the rest of the fleet. Oh, this must be Falm. I really love the Shan Shan theme. It's really cool sounding. Very alien.
By what right do you claim to make decisions over your Lord Commander?
Perhaps my lord made a mistake.
Them's fighting words.
I do not make mistakes.
Lady Suroth, you are barred from this court's counsel until you are once again presentable. Kneel.
Interesting. It's interesting to see with Ishamael giving her orders, and the notice that gets,
A gift from the village we captured. I know you're a collector of ancient things.
There's Padden Face. I love how the whistling is just like incorporated into the theme. It's curious to sort of puzzle out what position they have, or like what status they're perceived to have by the Shan Shan. Because the Shan Shan have a whole bunch of rules about who can speak to who can look at whom.
The whole world will be ours.
Well, even the fact that Turok doesn't have his face covered is interesting. I wonder if they're going to explain this right away. A lot of you guys helpfully pointed out that I missed what was going on with her eyes. And you're right, I absolutely did miss that. And I won't talk about it here, obviously, because it's a huge spoiler for those who haven't read the books. But okay, so they're going to focus more on it. Oh, okay, they're going even further with it. I obviously don't have to tell anybody to pay attention to what you just saw. Because the show definitely made sure that you would take note of it.
What are you doing?
There are 4 horses. I cannot give her away to followers.
I mean, it sucks, but do what you must. I'm not sure it's gonna matter to a Forsaken, though.
Whatever.
Ah, shit.
Where does this road lead?
Why? Tarvalon.
Of course it does.
All roads lead to Tarvalon.
What happened to your horse?
Oh, fucked up.
You must miss civilization sometimes. I miss beer. Not much fun drinking alone. I'm never alone. Now neither are you.
I don't know if I'd want to be in a situation where I was never alone. I quite value my alone time. That was a cool way of showing how his senses have heightened.
My friends? They're not your pack. Neither are the humans from the Two Rivers. Neither was your wife.
Now really getting into this conflict.
You don't know anything about my pack!
They're like, you want to keep your voice down, son. She has a freaking whip made of light or fire or something. Very smart. You're making some great decisions today, Moiraine. Though I would have waited longer.
Tell me the truth. All of it.
All of it? You guys will be here a while.
You did not defeat the Dark One at the Eye of the World. You set his strongest lieutenant free.
And the rest of them?
If he releases them all, well, then we have no hope of winning the last battle.
I wouldn't say that. There's always hope. Hey, where's the lady that you guys were with? What happened with her? I really hope that Moiraine didn't just like make the lady keep riding on ahead.
Yeah.
Hopper! Yes, folks, the wolves are kind of small because they're not real wolves, but you tell me that a bunch of those aren't still terrifying.
She didn't even bury him.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, I guess they are mixing together the wolf abilities with sniffer abilities. Because I think went a little beyond what the wolves would be capable of achieving with their sense of smell. And presumably none of them were around to see his body. Though, it could have been, I guess. Ah, okay. I know what we're about to get. That's a dead Shan-Shan soldier. Good way of telling us that whoever put these people up in here didn't come from the Shan-Shan. That's gonna make a lot of noise, Perrin.
Be loud, Bartender. Don't want them to hear you.
Hello.
Last man who touched her cage had his arm broken and practically ripped off. Can't trust an Aiel.
Well, fuck you, buddy. It's really messed up that humans used to put people in little cages like this.
Looks like Two Rivers work. But you're on the wrong side of the mountains of mist.
I find it interesting that people can identify the region a ring came from that quickly.
Actually, I'll see that room now, please.
Yep.
Barkeep, make up a room for our new friend.
So this be Dain then, yeah? Valda. I think she's starting to figure it out already.
Whose idea was it? This little trick.
The Aes Sedai's. The young man seemed to be off in a daze, only following them.
Of course he was. He's still so young. I must remember that.
You gonna kill her too? Just taking your anger out on people?
I'll not tell nobody you were looking for them.
Oh, I know you will.
Oh. She Agent Smithed her. This oh, okay, Varen. What's up there, Varen?
You're back, Varen? For how long? Why?
Come
can't a retiree pop in without an ulterior motive. I come seeking knowledge from our great library and the company of my sisters of the Brown Argyle.
My goodness, it is wonderful to see you. Should I open this?
Oh, yeah, it's from Adelius, with love.
It's just drink straight from the bottle.
I hear we have some new and very powerful novices.
Well, you did.
You broke the 3 oaths.
I've broken many more than that.
We get ourselves a little exposition on exactly what's going on with her and people like her.
Do you know why the Aes Sedai swear the 3 oaths in the first place?
Because of Archer Hawkwing.
1,000 years ago, a great king threatened to burn the tower unless we bound ourselves with the oaths. That's why the White Tower has so many rules and rituals and formalities. If we look inhuman and predictable, like the tides, men won't measure themselves against us.
You were recruiting me, Fame.
Make what's to come easier for you.
Leave us, please.
It's funny because I heard that even the book cloaks were complaining about how she looks, but that's book accurate, folks.
It's my army you need for your war. My ships, my leashes. You may be chosen, but you are not of the blood. You are here at my invitation.
And I know why you swore your oaths to the dark.
Very risky for her to talk like that to him. I know she's used to being able to talk however she wants to anybody, but...
What?
Although Perrin keeps trying to fight his instinct to free her. Come on, dude. You know you're just fundamentally a good person. You're not gonna be able to stop yourself. Good way to do it. Much smarter and quieter than the previous method.
Why do you help me?
People shouldn't be in cages.
Oh, is this her theme? Oh, I like it. I don't know how to describe it. It's got a lot of interesting influences
My
in
name
it.
is Aviendha.
Hi, Aviendha.
Look, we need to go now.
Well, that's not going to be an option.
Attack all at once on my signal. One at a time and she'll have you.
Well, that's smart. I think if I remember correctly, Dain was a little more hot-headed and rash than this in the book. So I think they made him a little more level-headed and intelligent. You like to dance?
Do you like to dance?
Oh, veil is up. Motherfucker's about to drop. It's a nice axe you got there, Dain. Be a shame if someone were to take it from you. Nice. A little bit of MMA action from the Aiel. I like how they're incorporating a lot of momentum and weight manipulating movement in her fighting style. Because obviously she is a woman who's significantly smaller than her opponents. So she's going to have to do things to compensate for the weight and strength advantages.
He gave you water. He helped us. Remember?
You may come to regret that decision, Perrin. You're a good guy, though. I'm assuming the only reason that she listened to him was because, as she's mentioned earlier, her water is his. Because he saved her life, she basically has a debt to him.
Lanfear was famous for 2 things among the Forsaken. Her casual cruelty and her mastery of Tel'aran'rhiod.
Oh, talking about...
dreams
Yeah.
can hurt you just as easily there as here.
Worse so.
You can keep us awake with one power, right?
For a while.
No.
Oh, wait, that's right. I can't believe I forgot that she can't touch the source.
It's been 20 years.
think you were as high as this table last time I saw you.
That's gotta be so awkward.
You must be my aunt's warder. I'm not a warder.
This is... Rand.
Pleasure, Rand. I'm Barthanes Tel'aran'rhiod, and this is my...
We've met.
Okay, I see where you're going now.
Are you sure? I will be marrying Queen Goldrin. Now that makes me your king. So I shall expect full subservience.
It's a happy match, I hope.
He's charming, Barthanes.
I shall go and wash
It's interesting.
Perhaps
you
a meal
can
for
see
Rand in the meantime,
her
and then some
trying
clothes for him
not to
yes, of course.
use Rand's name, but of course she's still bound by the oath, so she couldn't avoid it.
Here it is. A visit to Elaine's home in Camelin. The three were signed out just the other day.
That seems worth remembering.
It is. I don't know how it slipped my mind, frankly.
It's quite unusual.
Yeah.
But it appears the three were accompanied by a force of Queen Morghase's soldiers. So I'm sure all's well. And we will hear from Camelin in a few days' time.
Interesting.
I was in the library asking after a book, Meditations on the Kindling Flame.
Oh, yes. I've been meaning to return it. It's in my room, actually. Do you need it?
Just for a short passage on the Amelin Ted Swam. If you could.
There's some quiet menace in this scene, and I'm trying to figure out exactly from whom it's coming. Interesting. So was it actually in there?
This is where my eidetic memory comes in handy.
Oh, dang, I wish I had eidetic memory.
Perhaps it was someone trying to mimic her handwriting.
No, Sheriam remembered making the notation herself.
Compulsion.
Do you think it might look like this? If a weave of compulsion was being used?
We're actually introducing compulsion.
That would break the three oaths.
It would, wouldn't it?
Black Asher really exists.
So I know there are probably going to be some people who are going to be upset that this episode didn't have as more action in it, but I like all these little like set-up plots that move things from point A to point B. I forget what those guys are called, the attendants in white. I would bet a bunch of people are upset that they're not wearing the outfits they wear in the books, which are basically 100% see-through, because they're like chosen for how pretty they are, how perfect their bodies are. They basically walk around essentially naked the whole time so that the nobles can just look at them and just be like, yeah, look at how hot those people are. I assume it's also so that they can't hide weapons on them.
We expected you hours ago.
I had expected our master to meet me himself.
Our master has more important things to do than play fetch with his dog.
Everybody's got to play little power games.
What you do to these women is an abomination. Perhaps the Shan-Chan should learn proper respect for the One Power.
Our sul'dam train for years to prove themselves worthy. They earn their right, unlike the Aes Sedai.
Oh, interesting. Suroth's statement just now implies that in this turning of the wheel,
if you lost that long,
it's known what's going on with the sul'dam, which I won't say more about. So she just needed to make sure that she fulfilled the letter of her agreement with
Bring them to me.
with Ishamael, but not necessarily anything else.
I can't.
Mortars incoming! Run, Egg, run!
Wait, where's Egwene?
No! Yeah.
Thought your people never left the West.
Wetlanders call it the West. It is the threefold land, the shaping stone to make us, the testing ground to prove our worth, and the punishment for the sin.
What sin?
Nobody remembers, it was so long ago.
I remember. Or I mean, I know.
Giotto is the Aiel way. You saved my life. My water is yours.
Don't know about that.
It is not a lover, Wetlander. Though I would not be opposed.
Yeah, Aiel ways on those things are very different from their ways. I like how they're incorporating how they mess with people too regarding this stuff.
Where will we go now?
Farm.
All roads lead to Tarvalon and Falm. Hey, camels! Oh, is this the caravan? I think it is? Certain trader, perhaps? Or are these the Illuminators? Or both, perhaps? There are lots of ways you can streamline things. Oh, smart. Though, a lot of questions were made as to how exactly they finished getting away and how they found these people and managed to work their way into the group.
Yada, 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 yada.
Come on, we've got to find a way.
Yeah, be smart, Nani.
Don't draw any attention to us. They're going to be looking for us.
I like how they're making use of Elaine's experience in political situations to make her extra aware of this situation.
First, we need to change our clothes.
Our clothes? Not fancy enough for you.
Those soldiers at the Waygate were looking for us. They would still be looking for us. Here, follow me.
I'm not taking orders from you, Princess. I don't even know you.
Of course, it also makes sense that Nynaeve would be a little less, would not be trusting of her.
But I did bring back some white asparagus, if you'd like some.
It's a delicacy from the village. You can only procure them there and only at this time of year.
Smart. She brought something back for her alibi.
I'd heard on the road back that a royal envoy going to Camelin was attacked south of here.
By whom?
A soldier at the inn. He said it was bandits or white cloaks, but if the girls were with them, then we must talk to the keeper immediately. Those girls are worth more than gold itself. Hurry!
Interesting. So yeah, Leandrin's definitely been merged with another character. You're afraid to go to sleep. So I wonder how dangerous Tel'aran'rhiod is going to be in the show. Because there are certain dangers of the place, if they keep in the show, are going to be difficult to navigate.
Your whole life, you've always known what you wanted to do. Yet now I'm looking at you, and I don't think you have any idea what you want to do next, despite all this bluster.
She's trying to figure out a path forward, and she can't. Oh, nice detail. I just noticed that her wound from season 1 is still on her.
I got an excellent piece of advice once from my very smart, much older sister. She told me that if something is upsetting you or making you afraid, you ask yourself, is it true? Can you know beyond any doubt that Rand needs your protection?
It's interesting trying to navigate what she was doing with her face there. Like, what decision did she come to just now? Well, he's asleep. Ishi, what are you up to, man? Weird little man.
Disappointed? I'm surprised you let her live in the first place.
A Deadeye Sedai is useless.
And one without power isn't.
Desperation opens the mind to more interesting choices.
So you're kind of hoping that she might turn.
Takes no pride in his birthright and rejects his own power. And what about the girls?
One craves power, and the other one fears it.
And the boys?
One Matt was born mine, and Perrin will soon be more wolf than man.
It's interesting. Matt was born mine.
What do you think Rand will do when he sees his friends are all lost?
He will break.
I like that choice of words. He will break. Like, he himself or the world, or both.
It was you, was it not, who first saw the omens that led us to begin the return to our ancient homeland?
My lord, my eyes are too low to see such things. Only our Empress in her Court of the Nine Moons can see and know the omens for what they are.
Court of the Nine Moons, you say?
The High Lady Suroth has a gift for you. I beg only you receive it in good faith.
Who you playing at here, Shamiel? Alright, so who took you guys?
Reimer, of the Yellow Aja.
Aha, okay.
My warder found you just in time. The High Lady Suroth has put out your descriptions, and everyone in this city is looking for you. Do you have any idea what these Shonchan do to women who can channel?
We're about to... Yep, I thought that's what we were about to do. Y'all leave my egg alone.
Collar her. She must be tased.
Okay, so the things we saw... Oh, that's pretty cool.
Is it though?
I thought maybe they were coverings for it. So they're going to keep the actual physical leash for when they're being trained instead of having it be there all the time. It's actually pretty smart.
He's evil.
Stories from before the breaking are vague, because so much has been lost, but every single one that mentions Lanfear agrees that she loved the Dragon Reborn. She swore her oaths to the dark to try to get him back.
She'll see right through it.
Maybe she might.
I don't know. But whatever she is, I don't think everything between us was a lie.
I actually really like the way that they're conveying the whole toxic love aspect. It's like I tell people all the time, it's like, you know, one of the weaknesses we have in our modern society is we have a very simplistic understanding of what love is. We don't recognize that love can be toxic and still be love, because it's fundamentally a very selfish emotion. And that's what makes it so dangerous, or potentially so dangerous. So Lanfear loves him, but it veers into possessive territory. Her little moon headdress.
Finally.
Is this really where we're going to end it? Dang it! Yeah, she's a master of Tel'aran'rhiod, so it's going to be interesting to see how she kind of like manipulates things here. Another interesting episode. Like I said earlier, I think that some people will probably be a little annoyed with it because it was slow. But this episode and last episode are, you know, the ones where we slow things down and we do a lot of our, you know, world building and, you know, what do you call it? Like advancing of certain plot threads to get us to the next phase of the story, which, let's see, this was episode 5. So that leaves us with 4 episodes left after this, right? 6, 7. Wait, how many episodes are in this season? No, okay, so 3 episodes left after this, because I think there are 8 episodes this season. So we basically are going to be in the actual, like, you know, last act now. So things will probably start ramping back up in the next episode. We got, obviously, Lanfear dealing with Rand in Tel'aran'rhiod. So I guess that's going to be kind of like a version of I hate to say this, but sort of like the temptation of Jesus in the desert kind of thing. I think it's kind of what they're going to do there. She's probably just going to show him a bunch of things and manipulate the environment a lot, trying to kind of like get him to see things her way. It occurs to me, and I'm going to say this as I'm gonna try to be careful with what I say now to avoid spoiling show only folks. But I'm wondering if they're going to not replace, but if they're going to jump ahead to some of the Rhoydian stuff using the dream sequence with Lanfear, because it actually presents a pretty good opportunity to introduce certain elements from that sequence now, depending on exactly how they're planning on doing things. Obviously, Rand is going to try not to agree with Lanfear or join her. but is also going to be trying to drag things out a little bit so that he can convince her that there's either just that there's a shot, or that that maybe he is joining her or something. I'm not entirely sure what Maureen's whole total plan is, other than just trying to get information out of her.
Dude, you were so close!
To find out what's going on with the Shamel and his bigger plans. It's interesting because I think of what's going on with Shamel's bigger plans come from books later than where I've read to, which I've read up to book 5, which is Fires of Heaven. So I think that, yeah, the overarching, like what exactly Shamel has planned overall with the Shan Chan and everything else is stuff from beyond what I know. So it's very interesting to me, like figuring out, like trying to figure out what exactly he's up to. But it's also like, just, I'm glad that they touched on it with his conversation with Turok, some of the weirdness of how he's integrating himself into their culture right now. Because like I said, they have a whole bunch of rules about like who can look at whom, who speaks to whom, and all these other sorts of things. And clearly, they've actually changed a few things in the show, probably just to make it a little easier to have people communicate and have things work on television. But they're still preserving a lot of the kind of the underlying ideas of how Shan Chan culture works. And so I'm just sort of sitting here trying to kind of piece out like how the TV version differs slightly, because it doesn't seem to differ by a huge amount, just like little things in terms of like who looks at whom and who can see whose face and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure I remember that Turok, when he was like in this private situations, or basically just among the nobles and everything, at least if they were at a high enough level, did walk around without his face covered. So I'm not sure though. It's been a while since I've read. See, was that the Great Hunt or the Dragon Reborn where we got introduced to Turok? I want to say it was the Great Hunt, but I don't know, I could be wrong. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've read those 2 books. Speaking of things from those books, we are now getting into the Broken Egg plot. Egwene has been captured by the Shan Chan and has been collared. And it's about to basically be put through the process of being turned into a damane. It's slavery, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you to figure out where we're some of where we're going with this. It's like all I'll say is that Madeline Madden is going to probably show us her best acting over the course of the next little while. We have Nynaeve and Elaine being put through their friendship gauntlet right now, where they are going to have to learn to work together. Nynaeve's going to have to learn to trust Elaine. And of course, as we always see with Nynaeve, she has issues with allowing someone else to be in charge. So there's going to be that too, because both of those women are used to being in charge. Luckily for them, they came across another Aes Sedai and her warder, rather than Nynaeve blundering into getting them captured by someone who would not have their best interests at heart. But yeah, it's going to be interesting watching them forge a relationship through this trial by fire. Everybody's heading to Falm now, because we have Perrin is heading there too, because he knows that's where the people he was with were taken. Wake up. Presumably, somehow, we're going to end up getting Rand here. I'm guessing he will probably get information out of Lanfear that leads them to Falm. How Matt will end up there, I'm not 100% sure, because obviously they're headed to Kyrian, which is currently where Rand and Moiraine are. So maybe they'll just arrive just in time for Rand to want to head to Falm, and Matt will tag along. And we still have the vision that Min saw of Matt stabbing Rand with the dagger to kind of get to and figure out. Padden Fane is in Falm. I had thought that maybe they had done something where the dagger he had at the end of season 1 was a different dagger. It just looked very similar. But if all roads are leading to Falm and Padan Fain is currently in Falm, then maybe he really does have the original dagger, and that's where Matt will encounter it again and have to finally finish his his under the influence arc, where he'll have to confront the power the dagger has over him. Liandrin continues to sort of play her own version of the Dark Friend game, where it's like, like for instance, when she dropped the girls off, she had to follow the orders that Shamel gave her, which bring the girls to this place. But she didn't have to do anything else, clearly. So she set them free specifically so that so that there'd be a chance that Suroth would have this huge fuck up that she would then have to explain to Shamel, and also because she likes Nynaeve, I think, so she wanted to give her a fighting chance. But either way, she could still point to, no matter what happened after she left them there, she could just point to the fact that, hey, I did what I was supposed to do. So if anything went wrong, clearly it was Suroth's fault. So go get her, not me. I really wish we had gotten subtitles for the Old Tongue while Ishii and Lanfear were talking to each other. But I'm wondering if it's one of those situations, because sometimes I have a thing where I'll be playing a show and characters will be speaking in, a conlang for the program, a constructed language. And there will be subtitles, but I won't see them because you have to turn them on or whatever. They don't just automatically show up like they should. So I don't know if that's what happened there, or if they just made the creative decision to not actually show us what they were saying to each other. But anyway, the general, feeling of what they were saying came across regardless.
Are you sure about that?
I love how Lanfear didn't even try to lie about it, with Ishii though, when he asked her, "Will you betray me?" She's like, "Of course." Obviously, at some point, I am going to betray you. What on and when. That's going to be a mystery for both of us, but eventually, yes. And lastly, we had we advanced Perrin's storyline. It's interesting. I wonder how many people are going to misread what Ayula Smart is doing with her delivery. Because, at first, it weirded me out a little bit, too. But I think what they're going for is they're trying to convey the idea of the Aiel's accent. Because obviously they come from their own little isolated part of the world in the waste, or, the threefold land, the desert. So they're going to have a different way of speaking and different accent when speaking in, English or whatever the language of the Westlands really actually is that we hear as English, than other characters are. And I think that's what they were trying to go for there, but it did occasionally come across a little odd. Just like with the Shan-Chan, they all have American accents for various reasons, a lot of which lean towards Southern, because in the books that's what they sound like. And I think that for people also who are used to everybody in fantasy quote-unquote stories sounding basically some kind of British, will probably throw them off as well. So it is interesting, how some elements of trying to either be book accurate or just to sort of convey the idea of different cultures can feel a little weird to people because of what we're used to from certain genres. So it was just really cool seeing the advancement of Perrin's storyline and now rolling Aviendha into that. He, in the books, meets a different Aiel that he ends up traveling with, who I still think will be in the story later, just because I know that there are some other characters who are coming up that I think they will want to play off against that character. But I think this was a smart choice because it gives us more time with Aviendha before some of the bigger things that will happen with that character a little later. I'm still very much enjoying this show. I personally am not one of those people who gets annoyed at slower episodes, because I think they're important for character development and to move people into the places they're supposed to be and to set things up, which I think this episode did very well. But let me know what you guys thought of the episode. Remember, as always, if you have read the books and if you want to talk about stuff that hasn't happened in the show yet, say spoiler warning in your comment, and for what book, and then leave about 4 or 5 lines of space, because what that'll do is it'll force that the part of the comment that's actually the spoiler to be cut off by the continue button on YouTube. So someone will have to actually click to see it rather than just scrolling through and it just being there and accidentally reading it before they realize what it is. Okay, so just please remember to do that. Thanks as always for joining me. Do your best as always to stay safe and be well, and I will see you for the next one. Oh, bye-bye. Oh, and walk in the light.
A gift from the village we captured. I know you're a collector of ancient things.
High Lord Tarak, I give you...
The power glove. I love the power glove. It's so bad.